Congratulations to all of you. Mr. Risch, in 2007, you appeared before the House Subcommittee on the Civil Service, Census and Agency Organization of the Committee on Government Reform. In a hearing titled Strengthening America, Should the Issuing of Visas Be Viewed as a Diplomatic Tool or Security Measure, you said, and I quote, "During my tenure as unit chief, I adjudicated approximately 25,000 visa applications. I resigned in May of 2002, even though I received top evaluation and a challenging onward assignment. While I longed to return to my private practice, I was also discouraged by the State Department's lack of dedication to the effective enforcement of the immigration laws of the United States. I took my job very seriously. The State Department did not," end quote. So, Mr. Risch, do you believe the State Department isn't committed to the rule of law and the national security of the United States?
Thank you, Senator, for the question and for the opportunity to address that testimony. I will point out that the testimony was in 2002, not in 2007. So it was 15 years ago that testimony took place. It was during the time when Department of Homeland Security was just being stood up. It was in the almost the immediate aftermath of 9/11. I believe a lot has changed at the State Department in 15 years, and I'm very enthusiastic about the future of the way the Bureau of Consular Affairs will be doing its or fulfilling its function with interagency cooperation, continuous vetting.
So so I don't want my time to expire, but a lot of candidates here. Do you believe the State Department is committed to the rule of law and the national security of the United States?
Currently, Senator, I absolutely do.
All right. Now, let me ask you, you went on the same hearing to say the fact, this is a quote, "The fact that even I was terrified by states' incompetence and apathy towards law enforcement proves just how far this problem has progressed. I urge the Congress to support the transfer of the visa issuing function from states' Bureau of Consular Affairs to the new Department of Homeland Security, a department that will be committed to the rule of law and the national security of the United States." Now, PRM's mission is to provide life-sustaining assistance to those who are persecuted, uprooted people by working through multilateral systems to build global partnerships, promote best practices in humanitarian response, ensure that humanitarian principles are thoroughly integrated into U.S. foreign and national security policy. For example, refugees and migration are important policy issues in our bilateral relations with countries like Turkey and Iraq. So do you believe that the Department of Homeland Security, which is notoriously bloated with a whole host of dysfunctional components, should be responsible still to have the visa, the very essence of the department you're being nominated to be transferred to the Department of Homeland Security?
Well, 15 years ago, Senator, I stand behind my testimony. It was a completely different time, and there were a lot of talk about consolidating different things into the Department of Homeland Security. Currently, I watched the Deputy Secretary testify yesterday that it's currently not the intent of the Department of State.
I'm not asking you what their intent is. I'm asking you your view. You're being nominated for this position.
My view is I follow the leadership of the Department of State if confirmed. But as of today, I intend to lead the Bureau of Consular Affairs as it is currently formed. I believe that I will be, if confirmed, a strong leader of all functions of the Consular Bureau, including the visa function.
Mr. Sales, since 9/11, the United States has been developing and redeveloping strategies to counter terrorism and violent extremism. Our experiences in Iraq and Afghanistan leave very little doubt that extremist ideologues and terrorists flourish, find the best recruits in areas of conflict, poverty, and where people have no hope for the future. The 2016 State Department and AID Joint Strategy on Countering Violent Extremism outlined 5 objectives. And in those objectives, they talk to those very issues that I just spoke about. So my question is, how do propose cuts to the State Department and USAID programs that are the foreign assistance tools that advance the goals of combating terrorism and violent extremism actually in line with our very own policy?
Well, thank you for the question, Senator. I've spent some time in academic bureaucracies, I've spent some time in government bureaucracies, and in my experience, it's usually the case that they can afford to tighten the belt a bit. Now, as far as the overall State Department budget is concerned, Senator, Congress has the power of the purse under the Constitution, and so Congress will have to decide the levels at which it wishes to fund these activities.
Yeah, my problem with these answers is that you all want to kick the ball to someone else, but your nominations are in essence going to be part of policy decision-making. You'll be in a room to be able to advocate at the State Department and interagency issues. And so simply saying that the Congress has the power of the purse, I'm fully aware of that. The question is, what is your advocacy at a given point in time? Are these the essential programs that are necessary, as Secretary Mattis has said, that these are how we fight these ideologues? This is a guy who's a general. So I would like to get better answers than that. And finally, if I may, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Glass, we have a lot of Portuguese Americans in New Jersey and from the Azores. An extraordinary group of citizens have done extraordinary things in communities. Have you visited Portugal?
I have.
Do you speak Portuguese?
At this time, no. I've had some Spanish and working on Portuguese, and we'll certainly utilize the experts that are in the embassy to help us learn the language as we go.
I asked that question because in the past these questions have been asked when I was the chairman of nominees, and for some it was disqualifying. For me, it's not, but I just wanted to know. Thank you very much.
Mr. Glass, why don't you take this opportunity right now to provide some